Ava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Rama Kunjabi Hari Gopijana Ballabha Girivaradari Gopijana Ballabha Girivaradari Jasodanandana Jajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Jajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Rama Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopijana Ballabha Girivaradari Gopijana Ballabha Girivaradari Jasodanandana Jajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Jajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Rama Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Rama Madhava Kunjabi Hari Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Viveśaikatomaṁ. So, been asked to speak today on Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 69, texts 7 and 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasyām antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad. Arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ. hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra. kārtsnyena darśitam. tasyām antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad. arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ. hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra. tvaṣṭrā darśitam. tasyām antaḥ-puram śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra tvaṣṭrā darśitam. Śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra kārtsnyena darśitam antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra kārtsnyena darśitam tasyām antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra tvaṣṭrā darśitam. Ladies, tasyām antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra tvaṣṭrā darśitam tasyām antaḥ-puraṁ śrīmad arcitaṁ sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ hareḥ sva-kauśalaṁ yatra tvaṣṭrā darśitam. Tasyām. In that Dvārakā, antaḥ-puram, the private royal precinct, śrī-mat, opulent, arcitaṁ, worshipped, sarva, all, dhiṣṇya, of the various planetary systems, pai, by the maintainers, hareḥ, of Lord Hari, sva, his own, kauśalaṁ, expertise, yatra, where, tvaṣṭrā, by tvaṣṭrā, Vishvakarma, the architect of heaven, kārtsnyena, completely, darśitam, shown. So now I'll read the second verse. Tatra ṣoḍaśabhiḥ sadma, sahasraiḥ samalaṅkṛtam, viveśaikatomaṁ śaureḥ, śrī patnīnāṁ bhavanaṁ mahat. Kārtsnyena. Let's see, now we can lead with tatra, the next word. See, it'll be, tatra, there. ṣoḍaśabhiḥ, sadma, of residences, sahasraiḥ, thousands, samalaṅkṛtam, beautified, viveśa, Narada entered, ekatamam, one of whom, śaureḥ, Lord Krishna's, patnīnāṁ, of the wives, bhavanaṁ, palace, mahat, great. Translation. In the city of Dvārakā was a beautiful private quarter worshipped by the planetary rulers. This district where the demigod Vishvakarma had shown all his divine skill was the residential area of Lord Hari, and thus it was gorgeously decorated by the 16,000 palaces of Lord Krishna's queens. Narada Muni entered one of these immense palaces, purport. Srila Jiva Goswami points out that tvaṣṭrā, Vishvakarma, manifested the expertise of the Supreme Lord, and thus he was able to build such exquisite palaces. Srila Prabhupada writes, the great kings and princes of the world used to visit these palaces just to worship Lord Krishna. The architectural plans were made personally by Vishvakarma, the engineer of the demigods. In the construction of the palaces, he exhibited, and in the construction of the palaces, He exhibited all of his talents and ingenuity. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Viveśaikatomaṁ Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascharya Deshatarine. So, how much we are blessed by Srila Prabhupada with this Srimad Bhagavatam. Here we have the intimate glimpse into Lord Krishna himself. We can understand Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmaji has explained, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karanam. Krishna is the Ishvara Padama, the Supreme Controller. Satchidananda Vigraha, he's an eternal form full of bliss and knowledge. Anadir, he has no origin. Adir, he is the origin. And Sarva Karanam, he is indeed the prime cause of all causes. So Brahmaji was getting us the hint now here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We go deep, 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 deep into who is Krishna, what are his teachings, what are his qualities, what is his entourage, what is his dham. All of these things are given to us in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us take advantage of this Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives us a window through which we can enter into the pastimes of Krishna, in which we can enter the Dham of Krishna, in which we can personally experience Krishna and Radharani and all the gopis and the cows and the cowherd boys and the peacocks and the original pure Jamuna. Everything is here waiting for us. Prabhupada told us this Bhagavatam class every day. He established a very solid principle, Srimad Bhagavatam, every day, Bhagavatam. So this is a very, very essential item in our pathway back to home, back to Godhead. Very, very most essential thing to enter into the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's interesting to note here that there were 16,000 palaces, 16,108 palaces. In every palace, Krishna was doing something different. In this palace, he was doing this, and this palace doing that. It wasn't that there was no carbon copies here. Krishna was doing a different thing in every palace, but there was only one Narada Muni. He only went into one palace. We don't see that Narada Muni manifested 16,108 Narada Munis going to each palace at the same time. He went into one palace, you see. So you see the difference between the Lord and the Lord. Even a great devotee like Narada Muni, one of our great Vaishnava acharyas, still there was just one Narada Muni, you see. So we can see the difference between the living entity and the living and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you see. So we cannot do that either. We cannot manifest 16,108 forms, you see. But at least we can have one. We have one form. Let's make good with this one form, you see. Let us become, what is it called? Krishna conscious, yes. What is the name of our movement? The International Society for Krishna Conscious. What does that mean? The members are supposed to become Krishna conscious. So how do you become Krishna conscious? Actually, it boils down to one thing and one thing. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, and even for a nanosecond. You see. Prabhupada explains, actually, all the other rules and regulations, they are secondary. You see. If you've got always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna down pat, the other things come on automatically. You don't have to have ever rules and regulations. They're automatically included, you see. When you're Krishna conscious, these other things will come automatically. No illicit sex. Who needs illicit sex when you have Krishna consciousness? No meat eating. Who needs meat when you got prasadam? You see, all these things are automatically there. What about no gambling? Prabhupada says, give your one life to Krishna and see what is the result. That's our gamble. It's a sure bet. Give one life to Krishna and see what is the result. You see. So it's really ecstatic when we give our life to Krishna. Some people say, well, I'm initiated, I'm liberated, right? I'm going back to Godhead, I'm initiated, but it's not. When you enroll in Oxford University, do you have a PhD? No. Now you got to work for it, you see. Not that, this is like the Christians say, just accept Jesus and you're going to heaven. Don't think it's got to get initiated and you're going back to Godhead automatically. No. Now you're enrolled in the university. Now you got to do your work. With determination, enthusiasm, and patience, you got to do the needful. Every day, chant your rounds, follow the principles, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, engage in all the activities that Prabhupada has given us, the ecstatic activities. Actually, there's nothing more ecstatic than Krishna consciousness. Anything besides Krishna consciousness is hell. It's pandemonium, you see. So you have to decide, what do you want? Do you want to be happy? You want to be miserable? You see, you have a choice. You see, nobody's forced. You see, Krishna doesn't force us. You have to love me. No. Can love be forced? Put a gun in you. Love me or I'll blow your brains out. You see, can love be forced? No, love has to be voluntary. Otherwise, it's not love. So Krishna is manifesting us from himself with the sole purpose of enjoying loving relationships with each and every one of us. That's why we exist. So all we're really saying here, my dear Prabhus and Matajis, be natural. Just be natural. Be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not, that rotting corpse full of blood, mucus, bile, and stool. I mean, who wants to... Would you embrace a bag of stool and urine? Yuck. No way. Get it out of here. Flush it. Get it out of here. You see. Put it in the sewage tank. Get rid of it. That's this body. It's a bag of stool and urine, pus and blood. Very nicely decorated. You see. Male, female. Forget it. Yes. Let's get out of this bodily platform and come to the transcendental platform. You see. Let us take full advantage of the mercy of our beloved founder Acharya, his divine grace. Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivajakacarya Astatarisadashī śrīmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada was delivering us, you see. It's really amazing, his transcendental pastimes. Prabhupada captured our hearts. It's really amazing. I was sitting there at his lotus feet in Atlanta in 75. He decided to do something he didn't usually do in those days. He tried to teach a song class. It's a beautiful, beautiful bhajan. Parama karuna puhun vijana nitai gora chandra. He did it a cappella with no instruments. But then he had, many devotees were taping him. We had cassette players in those days, no MP3. He said, now somebody play it back. And then Prabhupada played Madanga along with the recording of his singing that bhajan. So if we take advantage of this wonderful kindness, this loving mercy of Prabhupada, see, how did he attract us? I mean, how did all those hippies in the Lower East Side want to become disciples of Swamiji? Because Prabhupada gave such a wonderful loving, such wonderful knowledge and such wonderful loving the dealings. You see. Those loving dealings, they didn't really know so much in those days. I remember my god sister Nadarani remembers how Prabhupada asked her, do you know what your name means? She said, what is my name? In those days, they didn't even use their initiated names. They went by their karmi names. What is my name? Oh, your name is Nandamani, the mother of Krishna. She couldn't remember who Krishna was. Who was Krishna? But they knew Swamiji. You see. Prabhupada's loving dealings were so special, they were so sweet, they were so warm. You see. I know my own experience, my first personal interaction with Prabhupada. I explained many times, but I love explaining it again and again. We had gone to the Ratha Yatra there in San Francisco, the famous Ratha Yatra. And then we came down to New Dvārakā, the form at that time, the world headquarters of ISKCON. And Prabhupada would go on his morning walk, and he'd come back from the morning walk, and it was a very nice thing. There's one photograph of it. But Prabhupada he'd get out of the car, walk down the sidewalk to go to his quarters on the side of the building. And we would line up along the sidewalk, all the way down the sidewalk, the whole queue of devotees, and every one of us had a flower in our hand. And Prabhupada would come down the line, and we'd hand Prabhupada a flower, and he'd hand us a flower. So you have your own one-on-one, just you and Prabhupada, for that 5 seconds, you and Prabhupada, that was it. The two of you having a loving exchange. It was so sweet. You have your own, every devotee had their own personal, intimate moment with Prabhupada. You see, it was so sweet. So, I call that, seeing Prabhupada actually walking in front of you is a very, very special experience. I call it taking that darshan of Prabhupada standing right there in front of you. I call it drinking Prabhupada into your heart through your eyes. And so I went, as he came down the line, I was about number 3 in the line, so I had my flower, I was all alive, and I got my flower. But I wanted another darshan of Prabhupada as he came by on the way to his quarters. So he finished the queue of devotees, and he was walking by, and I stood up on the steps. So I get another look at him, another look at Prabhupada. Oh, I can see Prabhupada standing in front of me. And he looked up, he saw somebody who was not in the flower queue. He looked up at me like, did you get a flower yet? He held up a flower. Did you get one yet? I said, yes, I got my flower, Prabhupada. But he was so compassionate, just some, new bhakta, some crazy new bhakta from Texas standing there. He wanted to make sure that I had gotten a flower. I hadn't missed out on the flower. That was he cared about every one of us. That was his kindness. Every letter he would say, my dear such and such, please accept my blessings. He would sign it, your ever well-wisher. Those weren't just words. It was Prabhupada's feeling. He had, and it's true for you all too, the grand disciples. It's still, even though Prabhupada is not physically here, that same love, that same mercy, that same acceptance of every one of his grand disciples and great-grand disciples going on for 10,000 years, it's going on and it's never going to stop. Prabhupada's mercy just goes on expanding and expanding and expanding. We have access to it here, and even though the words are by his followers, they're quoting Prabhupada, that's very good, yeah. But we have Prabhupada's words here to enliven us, to thrill us, to deliver us. You see, this is called the higher taste. Tushanti tavramantacha. By these topics of Krishna, we derive tasyanti ramanti, great satisfaction and great bliss. So this goes beyond all the so-called pleasures of the material world, how they describe like a drop of water in the desert. Let's say you're in the desert, you're dying of thirst, and somebody comes up with a little water bottle and a little dropper. Here, stick out your tongue, jeep, one drop. How enlivened would you be by getting one drop of water in the desert? Be frustrating, wouldn't it? Give me more, give me more. No, there is no more. That's it. You just get one drop. But I'm dying of thirst. Too bad, one drop and that's it. Would be very happy getting one drop of water in the desert? No, nahi. And one drop, forget it. Don't even bother me that one drop. It's too agitating, you see. But if someone gives you a whole bucket of water, as much as a whole reservoir of water now, all of it, you see a reservoir you can dive in, you can drink unlimitedly, you can feel refreshed and thrilled and enlivened, surcharged, you see. So that's Krishna consciousness, you see. This material world is a vast desert, you see. There's only so-called happiness of maya sukhaya. There's no real happiness here. It's actually a place of misery at every step. A dungeon of the demons, a pandemonium. It's getting worse and worse. If you notice how it's getting worse every day, in New York, some CEO just got murdered on the street. Walking to a meeting, he got murdered on the street. You see, this is the latest news. Somebody got murdered, somebody got raped, It's just going on worse and worse and worse as all these sinful activities increasing, the illicit sex, the eating, the intoxication, gambling, increasing, turning this world more into a more and more hellish nightmare, you see. Remember there's an old saying, remember when sex was dirty and the air was clean? Now sex is clean, you see. You can have sex as much as you want with anybody you want. You see. It's just getting so degraded, and the air is polluted, the water is polluted. The more we engage in these sinful activities, the more the whole atmosphere becomes polluted and polluted and polluted. The air pollution, the water pollution is simply a reflection of the pollution in our hearts, you see. But we have a wonderful solution given by Prabhupada. It's called the Sankirtan movement, you see. This movement can actually turn the Kali Yuga around and put it into remission. It's predicted for the next 10,000 years, gradually this movement will inundate the whole world. Prema Vanyaya will inundate the whole world. So we are very lucky persons to be here in the early days of Prabhupada's inundation of the world, to be, follow Prabhupada's teaching, distribute his books, distribute his knowledge, distribute prasadam, cultivate people, make them devotees. It's a very, very special moment in history right now, actually. We're sitting in as they say, sitting pretty. We're at a very, very golden opportunity we have right now to be Krishna conscious and spread Krishna consciousness. If we take full advantage of it, our lives will become glorious and the whole world will become transformed. So let's not be stupid and idiotic just to, let me just cultivate Krishna consciousness my own to hell with the rest of the world. No. The more you give Krishna, the more you get Krishna. So we should take this order of Prabhupada. He told us in 73 in LA, he said, become guru and live in the whole world. You said, wow, pretty heavy. It's like, take out the garbage, cut the vegetables, and live in the world. That's Prabhupada's direct order to his disciples. And that applies to grand disciples and great-grand disciples. It's passed on down through the generations, become guru and deliver the world. What does guru mean? When he controls mind, words, anger, and tongue, belly, and genitals, and preaches as much as possible to everybody, wherever he goes, you see. This preaching movement is really, really ecstatic. I remember even little children could do this. Prabhupada's very pleased with little Saraswati, the daughter of Shama Sundar and Malati. Here in Vrindavan, actually, she'd go up to some gentleman, she'd say, do you know who is Krishna? And she'd say, I don't know very much. And he's the supreme personality of Godhead. You see. So even a little child can preach, you see. What do you need to be a preacher? Well, there's two things. Do you know who Krishna is? Do you know who you are? Then you're qualified to preach. Deliver the world. You just tell them Krishna is the supreme personality of God and we are all his eternal servants. That's enough ammunition to go out and launch a revolution, a transformation of the human society. So let's see here. Okay, we got a little more time. I mean, this process really works. It does. I've been doing it for 53 years and I'm still here because it really works, you see. So many have come and so many have gone. Since I remember the two boys I got initiated with, and within a couple of years they were both gone, you see. But please stick with it. This is not a cult, it's not a religion, a sectarian religion. This is a scientific process of actually coming back to who you really are. Just like the walking propensity is there within everyone. A little kid learns how to walk because walking is already within him. The tendency to walk is already there within him. It's not artificial. You have to impose walking on a little kid. He'd rather crawl on all fours, but no, his natural tendency is to walk on two legs. You don't have to force him to do it. Just train him how to come back to being a walker again, you see. So in the same way, everyone wake up now. Don't sleep. Wake up, yeah. So, being Krishna conscious is our natural tendency. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. You are naturally Krishna conscious, you see. That's your nature, to be Krishna conscious. So all it's saying is come back to being who you really are by associating with the sadhus. What is that sloka? Sadhu sangha, sarva shastrakai, sadhu sangha, and then Lava matra, sarva-siddhi hoy. Lava matra, that's right. For even 1/11th of a second, associating with a devotee of the Lord, that can actually bring you back, you see. So this Bhagavatam class is going on for more than 1/11th of a second. How many seconds are going on here? Well, 11 times 60 times 60, I guess, would be how many lava mantras we have in this class. 11th of a second, so that every second is 11, I don't know the math, 11 times 60 times 60. That's how much opportunity we have now by associating with Prabhupada's teachings, associating with those who are trying to follow Prabhupada's teachings. That's how much opportunity we have now to sarva-siddhi hoy, to achieve all perfection. Not just one or two cities, but all perfection. The yogi is interested in these so-called perfections, becoming smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest. Just like one yogi, he would sit on the roadway, and the authorities didn't like that. You can't sit on the roadway, or put you in jail, you rascal. He'd come out again. No matter how many times I loved him, he'd come out again and sit on the roadway to show my yogic powers. So we don't need all these cities. The Ashta cities, they're very small time compared to the city of becoming Krishna conscious. That is perfection of all cities, to become Krishna conscious. So we go after that one city, and that all those cities are automatically there. All perfections are already there when you're Krishna conscious. You don't have to worry about it. Just see the power of Srila Prabhupada coming with 40 rupees and launching a global spiritual revolution with 40 rupees. And, no place to live. It's really sad to see what Prabhupada went through. I mean, he had no place to live. He went through 7 different places before he finally got an apartment. 7 places. Like wandering here, wandering there. Where will I live? Where will I live? Where can I stay? Where can I stay? Can you imagine? In New York City, not knowing where you're going to live in New York City, you see. So we have to just see the great sacrifices of our beloved Srila Prabhupada and be willing to make sacrifices ourselves also, you see. To be willing to go out anywhere and everywhere to spread this Krishna consciousness movement, you see. So does anybody have any questions or any challenges? Yes.
I always have a question. So we're hearing about the miseries of material life. We hear material life is very miserable. We're hearing good instruction. And one who's serious would take that to heart and be determined to follow the rules and regulations. But then what overpowers us to not have that seriousness? Why is it sometimes we don't appreciate the seriousness of following the rules and regulations and getting out of this material world? That curtain of Maya seems very powerful.
Why are we not serious? Because we're stupid. Just like you go to a doctor, my dear doctor, I got this illness. He says, well, here, take this pill every day, after every meal, take one pill. And then I go home and think, well, what does this doctor know? The pill doesn't taste very nice, I'll just skip it today. It means less intelligence. You have a qualified doctor who's giving you exactly the medicine you need to get over your disease, but you don't want to take it. It's this asinineness, foolishness, stupidity. So we have to be intelligent enough to know I've gone to a qualified physician, he's giving me what I have to do to get well, so let me follow his instructions. Just like I came down with one day I was sitting at my desk and all of a sudden I woke up on being carried in an ambulance. I came down with a seizure, you see. So now Dr. Swami has given me these medicines I take every day. I take them very religiously. My 3 pills every day, 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Because I know if I don't take them, I have another seizure, you see. So I'd be stupid not to take them, wouldn't I? I'd be a complete fool not to. Who does Dr. Swami know anyway? I end up with another seizure, you see. But taking the pills, no seizures, no problem at all, you see. So if we follow the principles of these 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and no illicit sex, no meeting, no intoxication and gambling, the magic happens. And no longer carried away by lust, by anger, by greed, by madness, illusion, and envy, the magic happens. I get cured, you see. And we get that higher taste. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. You see. And what does that consciousness mean? Yato yato nischalati mannaschanchalamasthanam tatastato nayabyatat atmanya viveśaikatomaṁ. From whatever and wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering unsteady nature, one must suddenly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So when you actually follow this process, you become, what's that called? A Goswami. You see? It's not only the sannyasis, it's for the ladies, the men, even the kids. This is a Goswami movement. We follow the Goswamis and we become Goswamis by bringing the mind back to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, who is all powerful, all beautiful, all wealthy, famous, and renowned and wise. So bring that rascal back. You little rascal, come on back, come back, come back. Don't look at those beautiful girls over there, those handsome guys. Come back, my dear mind. Come back, come back, come back, come back to the Supreme Attractive Personality of Godhead. Why are you attracted to a bag of blood and urine? And come back to the source of all existence. We're less intelligent when we don't follow the process. But kindly note, this is not the International Society for Rules and Regulations. In the beginning, Prabhupada was very lenient. Even they would go out after Bhagavatam class, they would smoke cigarettes. The initiated devotees were still smoking cigarettes. Prabhupada is very, very lenient to let us get that higher taste, you see. So the lower taste go away, you see. So Prabhupada says to be 80% lenient, you see. But but he just wanted to establish Krishna consciousness, and then rules and regulations would come later. So if you're having trouble with the rules and regulations, just try to be more Krishna conscious. And then the rules and regulations will come automatically, you see. If you're getting diverted by this and that, just try to be more Krishna conscious. Get up for Mangalarti every day, come to the Samadhi Mangalarti, read Krishna book, hear lectures, play the harmonium, madanga, whatever enlivens you and thrills you about Krishna consciousness, get into it. See? Whatever enlivens you the most, get into it. Prabhupada actually recommends that in the Nectar Devotion. Whatever you're attracted to, go for it, you see. If you're more attracted to hearing or preaching, whatever it may be, whatever enlivens you and thrills you, Prabhupada says to do that, you see. So that way you become thrilled and enlivened, you see. Just like I'm very enlivened by traveling and preaching, for example. You know. There's nothing more thrilling than going to a new place, giving more lectures here, lectures there, cultivating people. I'm very enlivened by traveling and preaching, although I hate to leave Vrindavan. It's like I'm having my heart ripped up, having to leave tomorrow night. Oh, but I'm going out preaching, you see. Malaysia, Australia, Austin. So I'm enlivened by preaching, actually, traveling and preaching. But I'm enlivened being here in Vrindavan also. Both things. And so I spend time in Vrindavan whenever I have the chance, and at the same time I travel and preach. So whatever enlivens you and thrills you, if it's madanga or it's cooking or offering arati. Of course, as you become more and more fixed up, everything becomes enlivening. It can be anything. It can be, sweeping the floor for Krishna. That everything is actually thrilling and transcendental bliss, you see. I now had my moment of realizing I must become Prabhupada's disciple when I was vacuuming the temple room rug. I was vacuuming the rug when I got my realization. I must become Prabhupada's disciple, yes. I was thinking, I'm just a singer-songwriter, but popular in Austin, and I'm thinking, well, George Harrison has My Sweet Lord, we'll all write Krishna-conscious songs, and that way I'll be a Krishna-conscious person. But initiation? No way. Initiation? Too many rules and regulations. But then one day, that was vacuuming the rug, and we had gotten a new record album from Apple Records. A DJ gave it to us on the street because he didn't want to play it in his radio station. The Radha Krishna Temple album. So I heard the London devotees singing, Samsadadava Nalalita Loka Tranaya Karyunya Gana Ganadvam Praptashakalyana Gunanavasya Vande Gurushi Charanada Vindam. And I was amazed. I never experienced something like that. The feelings of love they had for Prabhupada was absolutely transcendental beyond anything in this material world. We always said, I love my dog, I love my house, I love my guitar, I love my car, I love my school, I love my girlfriend, I love my parents. But this was all tainted. It's tainted. It's not really love. It was karma, actually. But now, hearing their words, it was the first time I'd actually tasted love in my whole life. Real love was there in their hearts, their dedication to Prabhupada. It was so powerful that I just started crying, and I said, when can I get initiated? And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever experienced in my whole life. So that was while vacuuming the rug. So whatever service you're doing, vacuuming the rug or cleaning the toilet or anything for Krishna, you see, dive into it and take this as a great blessing from Krishna. Krishna has blessed me with this opportunity to purify my heart and to come back to being who I actually am. So the rules and regulations are just a piece of cake, actually. When you actually get into the essence of what Krishna consciousness is, they're not a big deal anymore. You see? Just like in the beginning, Mangal Arti, get up for Mangal Arti at 4:30 in the morning. Are you kidding? Mangal, 4:30 in the morning. But they have a saying in America, I call it an ungodly hour. What are you doing up at such an ungodly hour? Remember that saying? They have it completely backwards. Ungodly hour, that's the godly hour, you see. So, Prabhupada said we have to do it. Okay, we'll do it for Prabhupada. And we got up and we got some taste. You see, we got some taste. I heard Vishnu Swami sing Vastakam while he was offering the art. No instruments, just his voice only. It was so sweet. It was so ecstatic. Hearing that Gurvastakam song early in the morning. So you get a taste for it. I don't want to miss out on this. This is the ultimate thrill. Gurvastakam, early in the morning before sunrise. It's sweet. It's like every day I have to be there at Mangalarti to sing Gurvastakam. There's no question of not going. You see. Sick, healthy, doesn't matter. What am I going to do? I must be at Mangalarti every day to sing Gurvastakam. You see. So because there's nectar there, there's sweetness, there's ras. You see. There's this amrita, deathless nectar emanating from the Gurvastakam prayers by our beloved Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So we connect with Prabhupada, we connect with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, also one of the great Vaishnava acharyas. We get Prabhupada's mercy and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's mercy also. Yes?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your very inspiring words. I wanted to say something. We can never glorify Prabhupada too much for the sacrifices that he made for us, and they won our hearts. But I've observed the movement from early on. I first met the devotees Easter Sunday, 1967, and I started chanting then. But I was definitely not ready, because as glorious as Srila Prabhupada is, his sincere followers are so glorious, because the conditions, you'd see the devotees on the street with different colored socks, clothes that they just picked up that morning.
My hearing is not good. I might have him fill me in on what you're saying. Let me get filled in on what you're saying so far, and then we'll continue. '67?
Yeah, he met the devotees.
In '67. That's very wonderful.
He was not ready at that time.
Yeah.
Also, he was elaborating about that there will be never enough glorification of Srila Prabhupada.
I also met the devotees in '68 when I wasn't ready. '69. I wasn't ready. I thought I like him with a little bit too much, a little bit too far out. Shaved heads and robes. My God. No girlfriends? Are you kidding? I was like a little bit too much. I liked the chanting though. The chanting was cool, but they were a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, that was my experience too. I was like, I remember I went to high school with Pushkar.
He went to high school.
Yeah.
And so I used to visit.
But what finally convinced me was I went more inside my heart looking for perfection. And being raised as a Christian, I knew about Jesus, and I know Jesus is a spiritually perfect being, so what can I do to become like Jesus? That's perfection. So I looked in the Bible trying to figure out what made Jesus Christ the sarva-dhiṣṇya-paiḥ, and one day I found he says, Father, not my will, but thy will be done. So I prayed to God, please guide me, how I can become your perfect servant. And Krishna heard my prayer, and he sent Vishnu Swami to Astam. So the other devotees are like rules and regulations. You have to follow the higher authorities, It was the rules, but Vishnu John was different. He was give your love to Krishna. And he would do it. You could hear his voice. He was giving his love to Krishna. So that's what got me, Vishnu John Swami. Just give your love to Krishna. Rules and regulations, they're just some side issue. They come automatically when you give your love to Krishna. That's how I got trapped in the nectar of Prabhupada's lotus feet. Give your love to Krishna. Just give your love to Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's an old saying, instead of loving a dog or a cat, love Krishna who made all of that. So I remember Vishnu Swami, the way he had preached, we were so attracted to Prabhupada. Remember, there's one program he gave at someone's home there in Austin. And the little girl had been hearing Vishnu John, she just started calling out, Prabhupada, 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 in love. A little girl, she heard about Prabhupada, it was something turned on in her heart. She wants to give her love to Prabhupada, you see. So it all boils down to that. You want to give your love to Prabhupada, to Krishna. That's what it really boils down to. And in that way we get trapped in the mercy of the great Vaishnavacharyas. Yes.
When Narada Muni saw Krishna in the different palaces, when Krishna married all the gopis, he had a simultaneous wedding in all the palaces, and his associates were also duplicated. They also attended all the palaces. So everyone in the liberated stage has that power of expanding themselves, like Krishna expands himself unlimitedly. Also, like Vasudeva, Devaki, they attended the wedding in all the different palaces simultaneously.
Vasudeva, Devaki,
and different associates of Krishna, they also duplicated themselves.
Oh, really?
To attend
But Narada didn't, but they did.
But Narada also has a spiritual body. He can do that. But
why did he said he was only in one palace here in today's verse?
That's different though. Narada went to that one palace, but I'm saying it's described that the eternal associates of Krishna can also expand themselves.
Krishna can certainly do that. He's in control of everything, right? He's the supreme control, the Ishva. But if Krishna wants to do that with his associates, he can certainly do that. There's no problem. It's a piece of cake for him. You see, if Krishna wants to expand, he can easily do that, you see. No problem at all from Krishna. Any questions back here?
Any ladies?
I saw a hand here.
Speak clearly, Speak clearly.
Hare Krishna Maharaj for the wonderful class. Narad Muni knew all the pastimes of the Lord over and over again. Then why did he come to his palace again?
Narada Muni knows all the pastimes of the Lord, so why he came to the palace to check out?
It's true, the great pure devotees is described, the Asakti stage, you can actually see all the pastimes of Krishna within your heart. But wouldn't it be nice to be part of the pastimes also? Why only be conscious of them when you actually be part of them? Wouldn't that be even more ecstatic? To know the pastimes and actually be part of the pastimes, that's even more nectarian, isn't it? Any ladies have questions back there? Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. Like you mentioned that one drop of water cannot quench the heart in the desert. So similarly, drop of water, what I understood that we are hankering for that material sense enjoyment, which is like one drop of water only. But how to convince this mind that this one drop of water cannot quench the heart, but we are still running after this one drop of water only. So how to convince the mind about it?
So you mentioned that one drop of water will not quench thirst. So, and you gave the simile that sense enjoyment is like one drop of water. So how to convince the mind that the sense enjoyment not gonna...
How to convince the mind that one drop is not enough? How to convince the mind that one drop is not enough? Dive into the reservoir. It's simple. See, the mind thinks one drop, oh really great, some illicit sex, some eating, intoxication and gambling. Just like the hippies were taking LSD, thinking this is the greatest thing, But Prabhupada said, do you think LSD is a very nice thing? What he's thinking, hippies. Prabhupada said, LSD is like, Krishna is like a whole room full of LSD, Prabhupada said. You just have to dive into the reservoir and you'll be convinced one drop is not enough. Otherwise you may think one drop is pretty good. Just dive into the reservoir. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You understand? Isn't it a fact?
Yes, thank you, Gurudev. And one more quick question. You mentioned that the more we give to Krishna, the more we get. So what is the best thing we can give it to Krishna?
You mentioned that more we give to Krishna, more we get. So what is the best technique to give more?
What's the best technique to give more to Krishna? Well, you have to surrender to the bona fide spiritual master, get initiated, and take his orders as your very life and soul. Krishna says, Tadvedi pratipatena, go to the spiritual master. Tadveganartam savrumyavabegatstet, the Mundaka Upanishad. The scriptures tell us we have to take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. That's how we got connected. We surrendered to Prabhupada. We took his orders, our life and soul. We wanted to please Prabhupada. And by his mercy, by the mercy of the spiritual master, you get the mercy of Krishna. Without his mercy, you don't make any advancement at all. So the key is to have a bona fide spiritual master, become totally sold out servant of the bona fide spiritual master. That's the key. Some people say, well, I don't really want a guru, I'll just be Krishna conscious. I'm going to step on the head of the guru and go to Krishna. But that's an offensive move. Krishna will not accept such a devotee who wants to step on the spiritual master's head and go to him directly. Krishna will never accept such a devotee. So a guru is essential. That's why we sing Garbhastakam prayers every day. The guru is essential.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
My voice is not so...
That's all right. He can hear and he can relate it to me.
Yeah. So many nice scriptures. We heard so many nice description on Krishna's opulence. He has so many palaces and so much gold and so on and so forth. So the question is, where all this wealth, where it is, where they went.
So we're hearing such amazing descriptions, how wealthy it was in these times, and how everything was opulent. So where this wealth is now, where it's gone? Like we cannot see now any wealth.
This wealth is hidden now because the wealth is still there. Krishna can remanifest the wealth of former times, but it's all hidden now because of our sinfulness. It can come, as the Kali Prabhupada actually explains a very amazing quote. He says, during the time of Lord Ram, it's called Ram Raja, there was no disease, no sickness, no poverty, and you didn't even die if you didn't want to die. Can you imagine? Prabhupada said the same atmosphere can be brought back with the Sankirtan movement. So that opulence can become remanifested again. As previously in the previous times of Lord Ram or Lord Krishna. We simply have to embrace the Sankirtan movement as our only life and soul, and the whole atmosphere on this planet can be transformed into like a virtual paradise on this whole planet. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Is that any other questions?
No,
okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? We can squeeze a little bit, maybe one or two more in, and then we're on the time. Time is up, but maybe we can squeeze a couple more in. Yeah.
Спасибо, Гуру Махарадж, за класс. У меня такой вопрос. Когда гуру говорит, дает такое наставление, которое невозможно выполнить, что нужно делать? Например, гуру говорит, стань чистым преданным, а как это сделать? Это же невозможно.
Translation.
So he's telling that what to do if a spiritual master gives
What to do if a spiritual master?
So I'm translating. So what to do when spiritual master gives us some instruction which it seems impossible to
What if a
fulfill?
spiritual master gives instruction that seems impossible?
Like an example, please become a pure devotee.
Become a pure devotee seems impossible. Yeah, it does seem impossible, doesn't it? I'm so contaminated, I'm so lusty, so angry, so greedy. I'm in the mode of ignorance. Seems impossible to become a pure devotee, doesn't it? Seems really impossible for someone so fallen like me. How I could ever become a pure devotee? In fact, Prabhupada personally told me in one letter, he said, all material desires, zero. Wow. Zero? I mean, wow, zero? Me? Contaminated me? Zero material desire? But even that which is impossible becomes possible by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. I personally am not able to become a pure devotee. I'm so fallen, you see. But by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, even a completely total rascal like me can become a pure devotee, you see. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, the impossible becomes possible. Prabhupada even told us, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So we got to kick it out of our dictionary. You take the word impossible and you scratch through I am. Impossible is in the word impossible, the word possible exists. It's scratched through I am, you got possible. Okay, so we stop now? Alright, so we thank you all for tuning in. If you want to get more from me, I have a free e-course. You go to www.joincourse.com. You get something every day and ask me questions too. Joincourse.com. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.